What happens when a lazy boy suddenly realizes that time is slipping through his fingers faster than he ever imagined? Join me as we dive into the emotional, eye-opening journey of a boy who thought he had all the time in the world until life proved him wrong. Ethan Carter was known by many names: Sleepyhead, Slow Motion Boy, Lazy Bones, and his personal favorite, Why Are You Like This? He wasn't bad at heart. He wasn't unkind, rude, or rebellious. He simply lacked one thing: the desire to move. For Ethan, life was simple. Wake up late, miss the bus, skip assignments, scroll endlessly on his phone, and then complain about why his life wasn't improving. His parents worried, his teachers warned him, and his friends teased him, but Ethan simply shrugged it off. Why rush? Why worry? Why try so hard? After all, there was always tomorrow, or so he thought. One ordinary Monday morning, Ethan overslept again. The sun was already up, shining through the half-closed blinds, and his alarm had screamed at him so many times that it eventually gave up. Ethan rolled over, grabbed his phone, and stared at the time. 11:47 a.m. School had started 4 hours ago. He sighed, not out of regret, but out of habit. "I'll go tomorrow," he murmured, stretching like he had all the time in the world. But that day, something happened that changed his thinking forever. As Ethan sat down for a late breakfast, his father stood by the kitchen counter, silent. He wasn't angry, just tired, exhausted. The kind of exhaustion that comes from trying too hard for too long. "Ethan," his father said quietly, "I need your help." Ethan froze. His father never asked for help unless it was serious. "Your uncle, he collapsed this morning." Ethan's spoon dropped from his hand. His father continued slowly. "Doctors said he overworked himself for years. Too much stress. No rest." Ethan blinked. Overworked? His uncle? The man who always told him to slow down? His father sighed. "Time catches everyone. If you don't use it well, it uses you." The words echoed inside Ethan's mind, but only faintly. He didn't fully understand them yet. Not until the second sign. At evening, Ethan logged into his school portal to check his grades, mostly because he had nothing better to do. A red warning banner flashed across the screen. Risk of repeating grade due to absenteeism. Repeat the grade? Repeat school? Repeat life? The idea terrified him, but he shrugged it off again. "I'll fix it later," he whispered. But later was running faster than he was. The third sign, the dream. That night, Ethan fell asleep early, but his mind didn't rest. He had a dream, one that felt too real to be just a dream. Ethan stood in a dark corridor. A giant clock hung in front of him, ticking loudly. Each tick echoed through him like thunder. Suddenly, the hands of the clock moved faster, spinning wildly, uncontrollably. He tried to stop it. He tried to slow it. He tried to scream. But time didn't listen. It just kept moving. Faster, louder, stronger. Then a voice whispered behind him. "Time doesn't stop just because you do." He woke up gasping, sweating, clutching the sheets like he had escaped something terrifying. For the first time in his life, Ethan felt scared. Not of failure, not of school, not of people, but of time. A shift begins. The next morning, Ethan didn't snooze his alarm. He sat on his bed, breathing slowly, thinking about the dream, the warning, the exhaustion in his father's eyes. Maybe life wasn't something he could treat like a video game he could pause. Maybe time mattered. At school, he arrived late, but he arrived. Everyone stared. His teacher blinked twice, shocked. "Ethan Carter, early? Are we dreaming?" Ethan forced a small smile and sat down. His mind drifted through the day as he watched everyone else bustling with energy. Everyone chasing something. Goals. Dreams. Purpose. For the first time, Ethan wondered, what am I chasing? He didn't have an answer. the boy with a purpose. During lunch break, Ethan sat alone until a boy named Liam walked over. Liam was everything Ethan wasn't. Organized, focused, driven. He sat down beside Ethan and asked, "Why do you look like someone stole your soul?" Ethan smirked. "Long story." Liam shrugged. "We've got time, unless you have plans?" Ethan shook his head. Of course he didn't. And so he told Liam everything. The dream, the warning, the grades, the fear. Surprisingly, Liam didn't laugh. He nodded thoughtfully and said, "Do you know why time feels so important?" Ethan raised an eyebrow. "Why?" Liam tapped his chest. "Because you only run out of it once." The words hit Ethan like a punch. Liam continued, "You're not lazy, Ethan. You're just lost. You don't know what your time is worth yet." Ethan swallowed. "And how do I figure that out?" "You start small," Liam replied. 1 hour, one task, one step. It sounded too simple, but also strangely possible. The first step. When Ethan got home, he didn't go to his room immediately. He sat at the living room table with a notebook and wrote, "Day 1. I will use 1 hour wisely." He studied for exactly 1 hour. It felt weird, hard, annoying, but it also felt new, like he had just opened a door he never knew was locked. That night, Ethan didn't dream of clocks or darkness. He slept peacefully. The change begins. Over the next days, Ethan kept taking small steps. 1 hour of studying, one chore completed, one habit reduced, one decision made intentionally. Slowly, very slowly, his days started to change shape. And so did he. His family noticed first, then his teachers, then his friends. But Ethan didn't notice, not until something unexpected happened, the moment that proved everything. One afternoon, Ethan's teacher asked him to stay back. He thought he was in trouble. But instead, she handed him a paper with a small smile. A grade improvement report, his first positive one in years. Ethan stared at it. His chest tightened, not with fear, but with pride. "You've changed, Ethan," his teacher said softly. "What happened?" Ethan looked at the paper again, then whispered, "I realized time isn't waiting for me, so I shouldn't make it." And for the first time in his life, Ethan felt something he had never felt before. Control. But the real test was still ahead. A test that would push him to the edge. A test that would show him exactly how valuable time truly is. Ethan walked out of the classroom clutching his improvement report like it was a treasure map. For the first time in his life, he felt proud, like he had finally taken a step forward instead of staying stuck in the same place. But life, as always, had more in store. The reality check. That evening, Ethan sat at his desk, staring at the paper again. It wasn't perfect, but it was progress. And progress felt good, almost addictive. He whispered to himself, "I can do better." But just as he started studying, his phone buzzed. A notification. 3 missed assignments. Final deadline, Friday. Today was Tuesday. 3 assignments. 2 days. For the old Ethan, impossible. For the new Ethan, maybe possible, but still terrifying. He leaned back in his chair. Why now? Why everything at once? His father knocked lightly on the door. Anything wrong? Ethan hesitated, then admitted, "Dad, I wasted so much time before. Now everything is catching up." His father sat beside him. "Son, time is the one thing we all get equally. But the difference is how we use it." Ethan listened quietly. His father continued, "You can panic, or you can start." For a moment, Ethan felt overwhelmed. 3 assignments felt like climbing a mountain barefoot, but he remembered Liam's words. 1 hour, one task, one step. He took a deep breath and opened the first assignment. The climb began. The pressure builds. The next 2 days were brutal. Ethan woke up early, studied constantly, skipped games, ignored distractions, and resisted every lazy urge pulling him backward. Moments came when he wanted to quit. Moments came when he almost gave in. Moments came when his mind whispered, "You can't do this. You're still the lazy boy." But Ethan didn't stop. Wednesday night, he finished assignment 1. Thursday afternoon, he completed assignment 2. Thursday night, he was exhausted, eyes burning, hands trembling. But there was one assignment left, the hardest one. He stared at his notebook for several minutes, willing himself to push, and then the lights went out. Total blackout. Ethan's eyes widened. No, 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 not now. Electricity was gone. Laptop dead. Wi-Fi off. Deadline in less than 12 hours. Old Ethan would have given up. Old Ethan would have said, "I'll deal with it tomorrow." But this new version of him, he refused to lose to time again. He grabbed a flashlight, sat on the floor, and started writing the assignment by hand, page by page, line by line, until his fingers cramped. For the first time, he wasn't racing against the world. He was racing against himself. The turning point. Friday morning, Ethan ran to school with his handwritten assignment. He turned it in just minutes before the deadline. His teacher looked shocked. "You actually did it?" Ethan chuckled weakly, barely. She nodded, impressed. "You fought for time, that's rare." But the day wasn't over. During class, the principal made an announcement. "Due to exam preparations, we will hold an assessment next Wednesday. Anyone failing this will repeat the grade." A wave of fear washed over the room. Ethan's heart dropped. Another test? Already? But unlike before, he didn't feel hopeless. He felt ready, or at least willing. The setback. The next days were spent studying. Ethan created a schedule, stuck to it, and avoided everything that used to distract him. But on Tuesday, one day before the assessment, something unexpected happened. His uncle, who had collapsed earlier, was readmitted to the hospital. His condition had worsened. Ethan's father rushed to the hospital. Ethan stayed home with his mother, helping her manage chores and phone calls. The weight of everything hit him hard. Assignments, deadlines, hospital, family, exams, life. For the first time, he felt like time was slipping again. Fast, uncontrollable, unpredictable. That night, he sat alone on the porch, staring at the stars. He whispered, "I'm trying, but time keeps running. What if I can't keep up?" His mother joined him quietly. "Time doesn't move faster, Ethan. You're just noticing it now." He looked at her, confused. She continued, "Lazy people don't realize the value of time because they don't feel it. But when you start living, time becomes precious." Ethan absorbed her words like medicine. She placed a hand on his shoulder. "Your uncle wasted years thinking he had more. Now he wishes he had done things sooner. Don't wait, Ethan. Do things when they matter." That night, Ethan made a decision. He would face the exam, not for grades, not for school, but for himself. For a second, panic tried to drag him back to his old self. But he reminded himself, "I'm not the lazy boy anymore." Slowly, he breathed. Slowly, he focused. Slowly, his mind cleared. He answered one question, then another, then another. Minutes felt like seconds. Time was running, but so was he. When time was up, Ethan dropped his pen, exhausted but proud. He had given his best, something he had never done before. The wait. Results were to be announced the next morning. Ethan barely slept. His father was still at the hospital, his mother worried, and Ethan felt a storm inside him. Morning came. Students gathered in the hall. The principal stepped up with the results. Ethan swallowed hard. Passing students are William Mason, Sarah, Maya, and the principal paused. Ethan felt his stomach twist. And Ethan Carter. The hall burst into whispers. Ethan's heart stopped, then restarted. then lifted into the sky. He exhaled deeply, almost crying. Liam elbowed him. Told you. Ethan grinned. I actually did it. But that moment wasn't the real victory. The real victory came later. That evening, Ethan went to the hospital to see his uncle. Now stable, smiling weakly. When Ethan entered, his uncle whispered, "You changed." Ethan nodded. "I learned something." His uncle smiled faintly. "Tell me." Ethan took a deep breath and said, "Time is valuable because it doesn't pause, because we can't rewind it, because one day we run out of it, and because what we do with it decides who we become." His uncle's eyes filled with tears. "You finally understand." Ethan held his hand. "I don't want to waste any more of it." His uncle whispered, "Then don't. Make it count." Those words sealed everything. Weeks passed. Ethan wasn't perfect. He still got tired, still procrastinated sometimes, still felt lazy moments. But there was one thing he never lost again: awareness of time. He woke up earlier, finished tasks sooner, helped at home, improved at school, and most importantly, he built discipline. People no longer called him lazy. They called him changed, focused, improved. And Ethan finally understood the truth. Time isn't valuable because it runs out. It's valuable because it's the only thing we truly own. A once lazy boy, now a boy who respected every minute.